Hey everybody, it's Kay, and today I want to talk to you about this book. It is The American Queen by Vanessa Miller. This is a historical fiction novel. So let me just start with a few things that people have said online about the book. So I've heard people say, oh, this is a Christian fiction book. It is not a Christian fiction book. It is a historical fiction book that has faith-based elements in it. Vanessa Miller herself, the author, has written, I think, over 40 Christian fiction novels. So it's no surprise to me that some of those elements can be found in this novel. But it's not a preachy book. Faith is a major part of the personality and values of her main character, Louella. So that's why it has a lot of scripture and prayer throughout the book. If that's something that bothers you, then I can understand why you might not want to read the book, but don't not read the book because of that, because it is a good story. Also, I've heard people say they felt it read as a YA novel. I don't particularly feel that way. I feel maybe more new adult than young adult. I like the fact that a 16-year-old can pick up the book and a 76-year-old can pick up the book, and you won't be worried about the content that either of them is reading, if that makes sense. So anyway, I just wanted to say that I feel like it's maybe new adult, but not young adult. Okay. This story is about Louella, who lived on the Montgomery plantation in Mississippi. And she's a Spitfire at a very young age. And she has witnessed some things that have made her very hard and made her very tough. And it's hard for people to crack that exterior, especially William, Reverend William, who is really fond of Louella and really wants to marry her. And because of extenuating circumstances, they do end up getting married. But after the enslaved people on the plantation have experienced freedom and they're still living in the same spot, Louella is adamant that they leave Mississippi in search of a better life somewhere else. And eventually, she convinces Reverend William and several of the other people on the plantation to pack up and leave so that they can go somewhere where they feel at home and feel safe. So they trek from Mississippi to North Carolina, and they find land which they dub the Kingdom of the Happy Land. And not only that, but the people that came with them and the ones that they took in along the way have dubbed Louella and her husband, Reverend William, the king and queen of the Happy Land. Now, because this is a historical fiction, the actual place that was founded by this group is probably an hour to an hour and a half away from where I live. And I thought about exploring that area when I first heard about the book, but my understanding is that there really isn't anything there to mark that this is where the place was. There isn't anything really to see. There's no remnants, no old houses, no old buildings or anything like that. So I don't think that's a road trip I'll be taking. But Vanessa did go. She explored it as she did research for this novel. So I like the settings in the book, from the plantation to the Kingdom of the Happy Land. There was just enough angst throughout the book to keep you motivated to find out, well, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next with Louella and Reverend William and these people that they're living with? There isn't a whole lot of romance in this book. There could have been more, I think, between Louella and William, but that wasn't the purpose of this novel. So we don't see a whole heck of a lot of romance. But there are several subplots throughout the book that take us from Mississippi on into North Carolina. And there's some thing. Everything ain't happy in the kingdom when they get there. Trust me. There are always going to be obstacles, but throughout, Louella maintained her faith, and she was a beacon of light to a lot of the people that she picked up along the way. She served as a great leader in that moment where you would think more people would lean on William as the man, as the king. More people really leaned on Louella. And there is another book about the kingdom of the Happy Land. I think there's only one other book that really talks about this group of enslaved people and what they were able to accomplish, and the queen herself, Louella. But it is a good read. It's a fast read. Again, if a 16-year-old could read it, a 76-year-old could read it without witnessing a lot of the trauma on the page that comes with some historical fiction novels about enslaved people. So if you're one that's sensitive to that trauma, you might also like Vanessa's take on this story, because things are alluded to, but a lot of things are left off page. So there's that. Anyway, this book is The American Queen, and that is my review, my thoughts on the book. And I hope you pick it up and give it a try. So until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye-bye.